Hello friends. Today we are going to discuss language, linguistics and communication. What is linguistics? In the previous session, I think I told you what linguistics is. Linguistics is a systematic study of how a language works. Now, what do we mean when we say how a language works? Let me show you with a few examples. Consider the words cooked and played. You can see that in both these words, we have added or used the past tense suffix ed. Ed or d is called the past tense suffix because it is by adding this suffix to the infinitive form of the verb that the regular verbs in English form their past tense. But how do we pronounce this past tense suffix in these words? In the first word, we pronounce ed as t. We say cooked, cooked. Ed is pronounced t. But in the case of the word played, the same past tense suffix ed is pronounced d. Played. If we ask ourselves the question, why the past tense suffix is pronounced differently in these two words, we are making an inquiry in the field of linguistics. To give you another example, this time from Hindi and English. In English, if someone points out a flower to you and says, "What is this?" how would you answer? You would probably say, "This is a flower." You would probably say, "This is a flower." If the same question were put to somebody in Hindi, the answer would be, "Yah phool hai." And if we translate that into, or we write that same thing in English, it would be like this. This flower is. Yah phool hai. But English doesn't permit this kind of an arrangement of words. The arrangement used in an English sentence, a statement, is the first one. This is a flower. We don't say this flower is. But this is correct when we answer in Hindi by saying Yah phool hai. So when we try to study or ask the reason why the two languages combine words differently, that also comes in the purview of linguistics. So linguistics is the study of language. Now, what is language? Language is a system of communication, and it consists of a set of speech sounds and written symbols which are used by the people of a particular country or region for talking or writing. So language is a medium of communication. Now, how do we communicate? Suppose Suppose there is a student called Sheila. Sheila normally goes to college at 8 o'clock in the morning. Every day, her mother prepares breakfast for her at 7:30 and she leaves for college at 8. But suppose on a particular day, there is a special class arranged by some teacher and Sheila has to leave early. Unless she conveys this matter to her mother, she may not be able to get to college in time. She may not be able to have breakfast earlier than usual and leave home before 8. So how would she communicate this to her mother? She would probably say, "Mother, I have to reach college at 8 tomorrow. I have a special class. So please see that my breakfast is ready by 7. What did Sheila do? Sheila communicated with her mother using words, or she used the spoken medium of communication, which is also called the oral medium of communication, since it is concerned with the sense of hearing. Now let's take another instance. Suppose I want to give a student of mine a test. In order to assess how much he has understood of my class, I give my student a test. I write the questions on the board. He answers the questions and gives me the sheets of paper. How did I communicate with my student? And how did he communicate with me? We used the written form of communication. In other words, the visual medium of communication. Now, is it possible to communicate in any other way besides the visual or the oral medium? Yes. Suppose I go to class and after taking the attendance, I look at a particular student and do this. I'm sure he would automatically get up. Why did he do that? It is because of the gesture, which implied that I wanted him to rise. So here, the communication between the teacher and the student took place through a gesture. So human beings use not only the spoken or the written medium for communication, that is, not only language for communication, but also other forms of communication like gestures, facial expressions, and so on. Now, can human beings and animals communicate? Can there be communication between animals and human beings? Yes. If you have a pet dog at home, you would have noticed that the dog doesn't always bark in the same way. When you return home from college, the way your dog barks and greets you and probably jumps onto your body will be very different from the way in which the same pet dog barks when a shabbily dressed stranger, probably a beggar or some shady character, even touches the gate of your house. The bark of the dog at that time informs or communicates that there is some unwanted presence near your house. So, the dog uses his bark to communicate with you, a human being. So communication is also possible between animals and human beings. Communication can also take place between animals. For example, when your pet dog is having his meal, and suppose the cat, probably the cat in your own house, or a stray cat approaches, I'm sure the dog would growl and warn the cat to stay away. Immediately he starts growling, making that sound. I'm sure the cat would run away. So there, through the sounds made by the dog, the cat understands the warning message the dog was trying to convey. So communication also takes place between animals. Now, what is the difference between the two types of communication? That between two human beings and that takes place among animals. Human beings have language to communicate. They use language to communicate in two ways, either in the spoken form or the written form. Whereas animals don't have language. They use other sounds or certain movements in order to communicate with one another. So from this we understand that communication is possible through language and also without language. We can even communicate through certain signals. For example, we know when we see a traffic light, we know what is indicated by the three colors in a traffic light. If the green light is on, we know the vehicles can move. If it is the red light, we know it is meant for the vehicles to stop. So signals also communicate. So communication can take place in various ways. Okay, so linguistics is a systematic study of language. Now there are various components in linguistics. The major components of linguistics include phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. First, let us take a look at phonetics. In the last class, I already told you what we mean by phonetics. Phonetics deals with the study of speech sounds and the study of vowels and consonants. Morphology talks about morphemes. It studies how morphemes combine to form words. Phonology deals with the selection and organization of sounds in a language and also with the study of phonemes. Syntax discusses sentence structure, and semantics is the component of linguistics that talks about meaning in language. That will do for the day. Thank you.